MACT.
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 Music Association of Central Texas.
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 It's all about live music.
It's all about live music.
It's all about live music.
It's all about live
I'm
music.
ready. Stanislaw. Yes, my middle name is D. D-double-E.
MACT.
KCD.
The podcast.
You could. That's what the KCD Band, yes.
It makes a lot of sense. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Hi, guys. Welcome to podcast episode 3, right? Is it
Three. Number 3.
Yes. Welcome to MACT, Music Association of Central Texas podcast. My name is Stephanie Chavera. I am your host and your vice president as well. I have a mastermind over here to my right. I'm super excited to have this podcast today because this is going to be a blast. This guy is... It's a hood. So it's going to be a great time. So...
It's a lot of pressure.
So, guys, today we have Casey Stanislaw.
Stanislaw.
KCD Stanislaw.
Yeah, Stanislaw.
Casey just finished his presidency term.
Yeah, I was president for about 3 years. Right.
Yes. Awesome. So, Casey, tell us for your full name. What is your current position with the association?
Well, my name is Casey. Well, KCD. I'm from Texas, so my name is CASEYDEE. KCD. And so that's why in my rock and roll name I chose KCD. It's my name.
The KCD Band.
KCD Band, which we'll talk about.
Which we will talk about that. That's going to be awesome too.
But I'm from Cameron, Texas. I grew up there. My mom and dad are from Rockdale. I'm a 5th generation Milam County resident. That's the county that Cameron and Rockdale are in, about an hour south of Waco.
Okay.
And we moved back. My wife and I moved back there 25 years ago. I can't believe it's that long now. And both our kids graduated from high school there. Yo High, Cameron Yeoman, go big yo. And so we still live there. And I got involved in the music association because I started playing and getting into the music circles. And T.W. Sullivan mentioned it to me, and then Top recruited me. And it was back in 2018 or 19 when they recruited me. I think I came on the board in 19 and as VP, and then around about 20, Top. He started getting sick. He wasn't in the best health. No. So for a while, I was functioning as. You forgot to mute your phone? For a while, I was functioning as President Pro Tem in Top's absence while he was going through chemo and things like that. And so glad to see him back where he is healthy. But it was really touchy there for a little while. So I took over as president, I think it was 21, in the spring of 21.
So you were a member for how long before you
a couple years
into the board?
Maybe a year and a half.
What was the main?
No, I came straight to I think I was a member a year, and then I got invited onto the board.
What was the main reason of you joining MACT?
Well, I was just wanting to network with musicians. Don't we all just want to get some gigs? But at the time, I was just I had released my first disc back in 18, and I was just trying to create something for the band I was putting together and just get networking with some other musicians. So that's the main reason I joined, just to meet people and connect. And so then when they asked me to be on the board, I said, okay, I can do that. And then here we are. So
I love it. Which I've noticed. I was at James Stone's studio last week, and I noticed an old poster of I'm pretty sure it was Matt Stone, but it had some of your current band members. They were on that picture, and it was like, oh my God, that's the beauty of networking.
Right.
Because you can get so much job within the same people in your community.
Well, James is a good example of networking. I should say the relationship that James Stone and I have, because I got in, and actually I think it may have been Top, it may have been me who asked him to be on the board, but he came in maybe a week or two after I did. And then we started playing together, and for a while I played in Madstone, and then Joshua Sperling, who plays drums with me, was drumming for Madstone. And so Tom Jones was actually playing in my band too.
I saw that. I was like, wait, that.
Tom played with me and Madstone, and so over time we've just sort of kept that relation. It's even though we've kind of technically switched band members, we've all played in each other's bands or in different things. And just like I think you guys have a gig coming up with James. Is it this Friday or next?
Yes, I am playing with James. Corks and Barrels.
Corks and Barrels, yeah. Well, that's just a great example. I mean, I've played duo gigs with James, and he's sat in with my band. I've sat in with his band. Tom has sat in with all of us, and Tom Jones, that is. And then Jaden, well, we can talk about the great Jaden Oliver at some length because he is the keyboard player extraordinaire in this area, and he's so dynamic because he has the range. He can play any style of music. You need 80s synth, he's on it. You need some Hammond organ, he's on it. You need straight up piano, Elton John, he's on it. So
he's a lot of fun to play with.
He really is.
I'm saying that too because also, as a lot of people know, Jaden also plays with me.
See, that's how it works.
That's how it works. We're all just going around with each other. There's a word that I don't want to say but we're kind of
incestuous. Maybe. Yeah. So and I want to talk more about Jaden later when we start talking about my new record. But Jaden and I collaborated on that whole thing. That was mostly he and I, and then we had other players playing too. But
which is, I think personally, what like I was saying on previous episodes, one of the biggest benefits that I have benefited from has been the networking part of it. Just expanding all my playtime,
right?
And not just meeting musicians, but meeting venue owners and meeting all these people. That if this person can't get you here, I bet you this person knows to go here, and that's just a beauty, and that's another benefit of you guys joining MACT that could really, really help you. Again, it looks great on your resume. It helps you network, and it gets you more work.
Well, and most everybody is just friendly and they want to play. I mean, we all just want to play, right? And I would also say that along the way, I feel like I've gotten to be a better musician. Because you know what? Now I'm sitting in with so-and-so, and they're like they're a badass. So I'm like, oh, well, I better bring...
That's how I feel when I play with you guys. I'm
practice.
Like, yes!
I better practice. Or...
rubbing elbows with good people.
Rubbing elbows. That should be our slogan. Yeah. Rubbing elbows with good people. With good people. And really, that's what it's all about. We're not trying to create some grand scheme and vision and all this. And we want to have a successful organization. And we want to grow. And I'd like to see us have a better philanthropic goal and raise money for something. But we're all just here to make music and enjoy each other's company. And at the end of the day, we just want to make music.
Yep.
And as a bonus, for those of us who are songwriters, to get to play our own stuff, that's even better. That even makes it cooler. So
for
when there's a venue for that, there's an outlet for that. So
which I think we currently are still looking for bands for November 4th.
Yeah. So here we are.
Your videos. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
All right, Casey. Where do you see the association in 5 years?
Well, I'll tell you what I'd like to see it do. I mean, we have started growing, right? And we've done it organically. There's a mantra I try to follow, and that is that real change is incremental. We could have a huge thing, but can we sustain that? But we've been able to just make the ball a little bit bigger, make the circle a little bit bigger as we've gone, like our festivals. I want to talk about the festivals that we're doing. In 5 years, I would expect us, to have that much better festival and a that much better network. But I really want us to find a philanthropy, find a cause for us to give money to, whether it's scholarships or, HAM, Health Alliance for Awesome Musicians, or something like that. That would be a great charity for us, because we're a 501c3 and we need to be raising money and giving money away, and we haven't been able to do that because we're just not big enough. We just haven't had critical mass enough to have that extra few $1,000s to be able to give to. A no-brainer in my mind would be scholarships for MCC and Temple College, both who have great music programs, and not only for college students, but they also have great music programs for high school. They're kind of high schools. Mm-hmm. So the musicians in high schools who are a little bit above their high school level, especially in the smaller high schools, well, they go to Temple College and they go to MCC and they play in their jazz bands. They play in their concert bands. They have a jazz festival in Temple every year, which brings jazz bands from high schools all around. Mm-hmm. So we should be helping with that. We should be boosting that. Or even if we find one or two worthy students and they don't have to be musicians, they could be tech type students too. Music tech, like they're learning because believe it or not. It's not all about the musicians. It's all about people involved in music, including venue owners, sound people, sound engineers. Oh, my gosh.
Shout out to all the Waco sound engineers.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you, guys.
Specifically to my cousin Enoch Hernandez. He is...
Really?
He's the best.
I need his number.
I guess I might be biased, but... I'm extremely proud of my cousin because he's a very successful sound engineer. He works at Multitracks in Austin, Texas, which is one of the biggest Christian recording studios.
Sure.
And that's what he does. And there's just so much work behind, like you said, there's just so much work behind being a musician, the networking, the running the sound, the running the lights, and all that stuff.
Right.
And every single little help that anybody can get from anywhere makes a huge difference, not just in their lives, but in the music scene, in the music community. Yes,
because my wife Ann is my biggest critic in terms of sound. And when you're at a gig, especially if you've got a full band and you don't have a sound guy, sound person out there, well, you're trying to play and sing and also make sure everybody's monitors are right and far be it from a drummer to help no, I'm just kidding, Josh, to help set up sound to help set up the sound, but but that's the way bands are. There's some guys, their time commitments or whatever, but there's a few that are there trying to get everything dialed in, so when the band does hit the stage, whether you're in the band or not, it sounds great. And so that magic, all it takes is a little bit of feedback, and you're like, throws you off.
God bless old spouses though for always telling us when we sound like crap, or when our mic is not loud enough.
Jaden and I have a running joke. Jaden Oliver, he's like, what really needs to happen? He goes, everybody else needs to come way down, and the keys need to go up way up.
I am not. I've heard that before, many times, Jaden.
Oh, the keys need to be way up here, and everybody else about like that.
Yep, that sounds about.
Well, his gripe, though, to be fair, his gripe as a keyboard player is he's always second fiddle to the guitar players. When a guy's up there ripping a solo, well, then he's back there, playing chords. And everybody has their role in the band, but that's where that comes from.
Do you know what I call Jaden?
What?
Sprinkles.
Because
he sprinkles glitter all over us, usually with his little. Yeah.
He really does. He does. I'll give you that. Yeah.
Very talented.
Yeah.
All right. I'm very curious to hear about this one. Go ahead.
You were going. Go ahead. You're asking the questions.
No, you first.
I was going to talk about festivals.
Yes. How did you know that? So, festivals. Currently, we are working on our November 2nd Fall Festival, Arts and Music Fall Festival that is going to happen in Salado. I cannot believe I didn't think about this question given the importance of the festival in our association.
It's the 2nd of November, right?
So 2nd November, yes, November 2nd, Barrel Brewing,
Salado,
Texas. But tell me about the first festival that you were pretty much the maestro of?
Well, I'll go back and say the first festival I was involved in, I think, was 19. And I was a member of the association. I wasn't on the board yet. Excuse me. And I played, it was in Waco, it was on Austin Street. So we had a little festival there, and I didn't know much about the organization. I just basically showed up and played. So, and then after COVID hit, of course, in 20, and so we didn't have anything. And I got to be involved and then became president. And so for 21, we decided to do the festival in Salado. Now, part of it was because of me not being from Waco. And I know MACT for a long time had been kind of Waco-centric and still is, but we have a bigger footprint now, so we're not just Waco. But at the time, we were kind of centric on Waco. So, and I live in Cameron. I don't really have a lot of network in Waco. I know some people, and so we talked about it. And then Katie Hill down at Barrow Brewing, who has a great scene down there. If you haven't been to Barrow,
so beautiful.
The great thing about Katie and Barrow, and we've all said this, is that they cater to singer-songwriters and all different kinds of music. Now, country's king around here. So if you're not country specifically, sometimes it's a little hard to break in to get your foot in the door. And Katie has a more open door, right? You don't have to be a country dance band. And so she just opened the door for us. And when we mentioned doing a festival down there in 21, it was our first year. Coming out of COVID, Chris Ermoyan was on the board at the time, and he pulled some strings and got this great performer named Patricia Vaughn, who came down and put on a great show for us. That was sparse. It wasn't as good as we thought it would be, but it was still a success, and we covered our expenses. We had great arts and crafts, and it was a good time. So that was the beginning of it. So now we just do first Saturday in November. With the help of KD, the great thing about going to Barrow, we don't have to rent the space. We don't have to put a stage up. Now, we do hire sound guys. Restrooms, the space is all taken care of. Yeah. And they're set up for live music. And they have that beautiful grassy area going down to Salado Creek where all our arts and crafts were.
And they have beer.
And with the help of Katie, Chris, Monica Shannon, who was on the board and was secretary for a while, she has the arts connection. And she's not a musician, but she's connected with the arts community. So she got all of our vendors networked and got all our vendors that come in. So it just became... Sometimes things are just at the right place at the right time. And then the second year, again, with the help of Chris, we got Monty Montgomery to play. And that was a great show. I just remember when we saw that show going, I was sitting there watching Monty Montgomery, who's just a fabulous guitar player, play. And I'm like, wow, look what we did.
Yeah.
we put a great show on.
Yeah, I had that. I think it's probably one of my favorite memories. The first festival that I was a part of helping was this last year. And that sense of accomplishment of seeing what you were able to put together for the community and how happy everybody was, and that every musician got paid. Like, my eyes welled up. And I looked at James, and James was like, we did it. We did it. Right when our headliner was playing, and I was like, we did.
Well, I don't want to pat ourselves on the back too much because, it was a team effort. And sure, there's critique. We could have done this better and could have done that better. But the truth is, up to this point, there's been about a half a dozen of us doing this, pulling it together. Maybe 6-8 people that are working on this. And so for what we were able to do with the resources that we've had, it's been really cool.
It has been.
And then the Hoosiers, of course, were last year. Hoosier Brothers played last year, and they brought a great show on. The Hoosiers were fun because they're from around here, right? And Then Scott D. Taylor, who is, everybody knows is just one of the best guitar players in Central Texas,
I agree.
got up on stage with the Hoosiers and played.
Yeah. He was just shredding it like there was no tomorrow.
So, and I'm, proud to call Scott a really good friend. But really what that did was that sort of kind of came full circle. And for me, as president, I guess I should say, because now we've got the band on stage and the local musicians, and we're all kind of linking up. And that it's just kind of a beautiful thing. So really happy that we were able to do that and continue that. And of course, let's talk about the one coming up. Lance Wade Thomas is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And
something with the Ramblers.
Taylor Branch. Sorry, Taylor. Taylor Branch and the Lone Star Ramblers.
There you go.
And Lance Wade Thomas. Both local guys, local acts, are going to be our headliners this year. So, yeah, on November 2nd.
It's going to be a great time.
It's going to be a great time.
Cannot wait.
And you know what? We've had great luck with the weather 3 years in a row. I know.
Knock on wood. I always do.
Oh, my gosh, because we played, this is a side personal note. Saturday night we were out at the Oak Club out in the middle of nowhere in Milam County near Cameron. And we were about 30 minutes into our set. We're set up outside and it started raining. So,
no.
It happens.
Please tell me your instruments are insured.
Well, we didn't have any permanent damage, but we did have a little bit of... one of Jaden's keyboards didn't work after we moved inside.
Holy moly.
But it's fine. It's fine. It dried out. But yeah, that's what's going on.
I love it. What has been one of the most important lessons you've learned with your time at MACT?
I think it was just the fact that don't micromanage and just try to let the thing happen. We had a lot of great people that were on the board, off the board. I've already mentioned a few. Dana Spigner was on the board and was very instrumental in helping. John Holt on the board, very instrumental in helping things. Brenda Light here in Waco. And I'm sure Lee Lockwood, yeah. And so I know I'm missing a few people, but that these things kind of take on you gotta, if you're the president anyway or the project manager, you've kind of keep the ship pointed in the right direction. But just trust that your team is gonna do what they need to do to make it happen. And so, and just remember that, it's, I guess as president, it's not about you. It's about the mission. So
yeah. I love it.
Although you got the title, but it's not about you. It's somebody has to be the no or whatever. But
what is the most fun memory that you've had with MACT?
Oh well, it's a little bit embarrassing. But the most fun memory I had.
I think I know what you're about to say.
Well, let's just say that I imbibed on something I shouldn't have at a board meeting. We were at James's house having a board meeting, and somebody gave me half an edible, and it went straight to my head, and I was so loopy.
Hey, but you wrote a song though.
But I wrote a song about it. But I was so loopy, and I live half an hour away from Temple, and so we had a good meeting. There was it seemed like there was a lot of yelling. But I was about to leave, and John Holt and Chris Ermolian were both on the board at the time. They were like, "Hey, Case, man, where you going? You don't need to be leaving yet." And so we all sat around, and it was kind of like dorm room days. We all played guitar, passed the guitar around. James has a pool table, so we're shooting pool.
Yeah.
And it was just that. It was that camaraderie, that moment of camaraderie, and it can happen in any group, anywhere, but that's what happened under an MACT umbrella. I'll play you the song if you want to hear it, but it is Jaden and I wrote a little song based on that experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you showed it to me when we first met. I think it was one of the first things that I was like, but that's awesome.
So, I mean, and I know it doesn't have anything to do with the mission or whatever, but the musician, it just maybe tells you setting the tone for what kind of organization we have and that we're trying to foster, which is friendly, laid back. We're trying to get things done. We're trying to make music. We're trying to do some cool things. But at the end of the day, we're just trying to, we're musicians. We don't want to be, too hard-ass about anything. Although it does help to have a couple, 3 non-musicians in the mix just to keep us all on track.
Gathering musicians is like gathering dogs and
cats. Yeah, exactly.
It is. Oh my God, it's an act of Congress.
I know, it's fun.
Time. Just like
it's fun though.
And it is a lot. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
No,
I wouldn't trade it for any other career. I love what I do, and like I said in episode 1, I think that what makes MACT the board, what makes it easier for us to work together is the fact that we have connected in such a deeper way because we have the one common thing, which is to help other musicians,
right,
and to create areas of opportunities and to create positive platforms where they can thrive and things like that. So so moments like that, like what happened, it just makes it even more of a more raw experience.
Exactly. And I
love it.
I just remember sitting there and people just kind of laughing and checking on me. Not that, but it was funny. It was so funny.
Casey, currently you are the secretary.
Yes, I am.
So tell us what your position consists of, what your duties are, what's going on.
Well, okay. Being president, and you're coming on the board, which was a really important thing for me because, what you brought to the table. One of the reasons we made the shift, and James is president, and our secretary position was vacant, and I wanted to try to make a space for you, for one thing, because you're vice president and you're the future, right? So, I mean, you're younger than all of us. So, anyhow, just being an old man for a second, but getting you more involved in a board position, and then being secretary, I just saw that, we always have stuff we need to do, but there's always back-end stuff that needs to happen, whether it's paperwork or minutes or grants or bylaws or whatever. That being on the back end of that, James and I kind of switched hats, and James is the president now, but, we're still kind of all doing the same thing, but I just kind of felt like being the secretary position, just kind of keeping the wheels on the road in terms of,
Gotcha.
Bigger picture, back end stuff, I think is important as well for any organization. Because if you're going to grow, you've got to make sure your house is in order. Yeah. Your paperwork's straight and your filings are all straight and things like that. So, and then as we go forward, things like contracts. If we ever do get into do some scholarships, right now we're actively seeking sponsors. We need to get 2 or 3 big name sponsors, whether they're car dealers or local industry, just so that we can have enough money to put the festival on, pay the musicians. Not a whole lot, but just to make it worth their while, and hopefully get to that point where we got that, sort of $2,000 to $5,000 that we can give away.
For sure.
Yeah.
That would be lovely. So if you're watching this,
yeah,
and you
We'd love to have
support and you have the possibility of helping others and you don't know what to do, we would love to have your help. It will go a very long way, and you'll get to see live music.
Yeah, you get to hang out with musicians.
And hang out with musicians, because trust me,
we're cool.
If you give us money, we're all probably in the board gonna throw you some of our merch.
Yeah. You'll get merch.
Thank you. Merch.
No, and by the way, just to be clear, as board members, if our bands or our acts play, we don't take anything off of that as board members.
100%, yes. Yeah. So if KCD Band plays or Matt Stone plays or we don't.
Yeah, we don't want to be
don't
self-serving.
take, right.
But I will say this: we are looking for a sponsor. We have. I got to go back and look at the paperwork, but there is a billboard company, and if we can do billboards, because we are a 501c3, our banner sponsor, whoever is the big money sponsor, can have their name on our billboard with us as a marquee sponsor for the festival.
Well,
Plus stage
think about
recognition, etc. So.
yeah, and also when that happens, T-shirts, your logo's on the back
Yeah.
of the T-shirt. So it's everywhere. You're not just handing us money. We're making sure that your money also helps. Your donation helps you.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I love it.
And, I read a quote once that says, there are two ways to be creative. You can sing and dance, or you can make a place where others can sing and dance. So maybe your mission is to just foster art and creativity and music. And so, I mean, if that's what you feel inclined to do, we'd love to have you on board as part of our group. And, just remember, you're not just helping the person playing guitar. You're helping the venue. You're helping the sound guy. You're helping the local music-related businesses like, guitar shops and teachers and students and people like that. There's a lot of benefit that comes for the community that comes from supporting the arts.
100%.
Yeah.
I love it. I love. I was very flattered when you invited me to have coffee with you to kind of talk about everything. I remember leaving and my mind was just blown. I called my wife and I told her what kind of happened, and she's like, it was kind of a big wake-up call because I realized that it's more than just yourself.
Yeah.
It's more than just yourself.
Stephanie's the bomb, by the way.
Stop it.
No, she is.
Stop it.
You are.
Well, thank
well, look at this podcast. I mean, none of us could pull this thing together, and you did.
Well, it's a group effort, like you said. Everybody's been showing up.
Well, if it's a complete failure, it's your fault. But if
it's a success, it's a group effort. So
yeah, exactly.
You guys already know. If we only have 3 people watching, it's my fault.
No,
so.
That's the way it is, though. When you're the president or whatever, if everything goes great, it was a team effort. If things go down the toilet, it's your fault.
I love it. Awesome. So, you ready to have some fun?
Yes.
I mean, not that we haven't been having
We're having
fun,
a lot of fun.
but this is going to get a tough.
Okay.
All right, here we go. So, let's talk about you. Where you're from? Well, you already told me where you're
I'm from Cameron, yeah.
Yes. When you said Rockdale, I thought Illinois. Is that a...
No, there's a Rockville, Illinois, I think.
There you go. That's probably what I was thinking. So, what is your history as a musician? When did you start playing? What made you get into music?
I've always wanted to be a singer. It's just the way my brain worked. When I was a kid, for those of you in my age group, my grandparents and my parents had, like Roger Miller records and things like that. And I would jump around the living room singing with the record player. And so I've always just wanted to sing, and then learn to play guitar, mainly just to accompany myself. I sang in choirs in college, barbershop, sang a lot of barbershop. And I always tell my guitar friends, I said, well, you guys were trying to, play like Jimi Hendrix and Jimmy Page and Stevie Ray Vaughan and all these people. I'm standing in front of the stereo trying to sing like Steve Perry, Freddie Mercury, Brad Delp from Boston, Steve Walsh from Kansas. Those the singers I wanted to emulate. Those guys who could really belt it out and really had these great voices. So I just always wanted to be a singer, and and I play guitar too, and play some harmonica too, and so. Over the time, you play, you're busy. Maybe you're busy as a musician, maybe you're not. And then, I don't know, about 10 years ago, I kind of started getting serious about my songwriting. I'd written a couple songs over time. And then 16 to 17, I started writing more. And then, of course, we put the first EP out in 2018 called 2017. All the songs were written in 2017, kind of about the year 2017. And So I kind of did that as a bucket list deal. I didn't have a band. My son, Caleb Stanislaw, is a musician, helped me with that and some of his buddies up in Fort Worth. And so we did it as a studio project, and it just turned out way better than I thought it could. And so I'm like, well, maybe I should start, doing it. I'd always played around, the campfire stuff, just solo stuff, done solo stuff. But then I got a band together, and Tom Jones was in my band. I met Joshua Sperling. I've been playing with him for 5 years, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Since 18. That's not 6 years.
That's 6, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's been like a little bit of with the band, with KCD Band, it's been like this, a little gradually getting better. And of course, when COVID hit, we started practicing, on the sly, even though we weren't supposed to all be in the same room during COVID.
6 feet.
Yeah. We practiced, and I wrote some stuff in 2020 and 2021 that ended up being on our latest release, which is called Create Love, which just came out beginning of April.
You always have your release parties when I have gigs.
Well,
and
you have gigs, but you have gigs all the time.
But no.
Okay, so I brought this just specifically to present to Stephanie.
This is awesome.
It's called.
Yeah, look at that, guys.
The album's called Create Love. The title cut's Create Love. There's I
love the art of it. Who made the art?
I got to give a shout out to Daniel Haug. Daniel Haug, who was on our board.
On the board.
His girlfriend, fiance Tatiana Gomez, did this graphic for us, and I was just thrilled to death about it. And of course, there was we tweaked it and got it the way we wanted it, and it came out perfect. It's the album cover, and then we made if you go and search KCD Band and Create Love, we have a great video we shot that's a green screen video. So back about a year ago.
That was awesome. I remember you showed me, and I cannot get my eyes off the screen. It was so good. This guy is very talented. So if you have a second to check him out, KCD Band.
Thank you.
What platforms are you on?
Everything. We're on
Spotify,
Pandora, Apple,
YouTube.
But on YouTube, if you go to our YouTube channel, and please like and subscribe.
You have so much presence with the camera. I love it. You're just so...
I was born with no shame.
Most musicians aren't.
No. So we did this guy, kid, they're our kids to me, right? Just 20s. Photographer, video guy named Robert Gossard that I met, came to Cameron in April last year, and it was pouring rain, and he set up a green screen in my office space in downtown Cameron. And Jaden, me, and Scott Nichols, our bass player, jumped around in front of the green screen for, I don't know, an hour and a half. And
you were just having fun.
We were just having fun, and pantomiming the song, and we're doing all kind of funny stuff, and then I kind of sat on it for a few months after that because I had an idea to have some sort of animation behind it. Well, my friend Joe Tacky up in Fort Worth, and shout out to Joe, who may see this. Joe runs a studio up there. It's called Cloudland Studio. And he's a genius. He's a musician himself, but he also is a genius on this kind of stuff, on audio engineering and on videos. And he took the project to make the animation. So all the animation that you see, which is us spinning around, and he took this, I guess he's got this AI thing now. I don't know how it works, but the animated the graphic so that the people are dancing,
I love it.
Yeah.
I told you, I couldn't get my eyes off of it. I
That's
couldn't remember
Joe.
when you showed it to me, but I could not. I mean, I was glued.
Joe Tacky did that, and then all the other cool special effects. He made that happen.
I love it.
And so there's that one, and then I want to just mention my friend Jorgito. Jorgito down in Cameron shot another video for us for our song "Traveling Bone," and if you go to our YouTube page, you'll see this. Jorgito TV. He shoots. Got a great eye for a camera eye. He does a lot of not car shows and, weddings and quinceañeras and things like that. But I said, man, I want to shoot a video for Traveling Bone. We went out to the railroad tracks.
Yeah. Feeling brave over here.
Yeah, we went on the railroad tracks. He's got drone shots.
Dude, that's awesome.
So look at Traveling Bone. And Jorgito TV, if you want to check his stuff out. He just did an amazing job.
KCD Band.
KCD Band.
What do you love the most about playing music?
Anytime I can play or practice with my guys, it's just like magic. Like it's magic.
Yeah.
And also, I would also add collaborating with Jaden. I know we've talked a lot about Jaden, like he's some kind of god. Oh my God! But Jaden has this crazy talent, and he'll play riffs. He'll just like come into practice. Or it won't even be practice. He'll just start noodling and playing some kind of riff. And if it catches my ear, then we'll start workshopping it. Like maybe a melody will pop into my head or, a line or something. And then we'll just kind of go off of that. So if you listen to the first song on our record, which is Bring It In, that's how that song, that's how that came out, is him playing that in practice. And then everybody just kind of fell in. And the melody just kind of came out of my head, and then all of a sudden then I had to go away and write some lyrics.
It's funny that you say that because Jaden and we had practice last night, and he was talking about how it's very hard for him to click with other musicians because not everybody speaks Jadenese.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, like we talk with James, once you start playing with other musicians, it's like this telepathy that you have with other musicians of like, okay, I know what you're about to do next.
Yeah.
I know where you're going with this. And I think Jaden is one of the people that I know that does that so well.
Yeah, he's so easy to work with. And so then but writing a song is just like, it just doesn't fall out on the floor. If it's any good, every once in a while I'll have one that just kind of comes out like that. But most of the time, you take it, you sit with it, you come up with some lyrics and you workshop some things, and you come back and you try to put it together, and maybe it doesn't flow right. You have to change the chorus, you have to shorten this or lengthen that, put a bridge in, that kind of thing happens. But that's just part of the process. That's fun. You asked me what was fun. That's fun.
Yeah.
When you're in that creative space and you're coming up with something, now whether it's any good or not, I don't know, but if I like it and people around me and my guys are jamming it, then I'm like, okay, well, I guess it's not. I guess it doesn't suck,
Yeah. No, I feel that. It's not just me. It sounds good.
Yeah.
I feel that.
We actually tried a new one out the other night. The Rain Out. For our sound check, we have a brand new one that we've just written, and Jaden and I went back and made a demo out of it. I like making demos too, because when you can write a whole song and you have like a demo, that you can say, well, this is draft one of the song. It's done for now. And so by the way, let me just transition into something about where I think we should be going with this. We should create, and I would like to see the organization create a better space for fostering songwriters. Now, I know we have the songwriting contest, but we need to have some workshops or maybe some groups where we critique each other's stuff, maybe once a month. I know there's several songwriting groups. It'd be great for us to form a songwriting circle or group and have people, even if it's online, write songs and then submit them to the group and let people... There's something about having a little bit of a deadline or a prompt, for example. Mm-hmm. Oh, this, we're going to write to this prompt. Everybody write a song about dogs, or with dogs in it. So
that would be very helpful. Which kind of we started speaking about it. So hopefully we can make it happen.
Yeah, I would love to see that happen as far as what the association can do. But yeah,
I love it.
Thank you.
Of course. What is the best memory you have as a musician?
Oh my gosh. Well, only because it's fresh in my brain. We had a great St. Patty's Day show at O'Brien's on this year in 24, and I have these polyester green pants that I wore.
Oh my god!
And everybody,
There's pictures.
yeah, everybody was into we had a great show, and the sound was good, and the bar loved us, and it was good. It was a good time.
Good,
So-
which I love. O'Brien's. I barely went there for the first time. I think it was a couple months back, and I fell in love with the venue. It is a little older. It's a little, but the space, it's wonderful. They have a great stage. They have good lighting. They have 2 floors. They have a full bar. They have a kitchen. You're downtown Temple too. So
I would also add, though, a couple of choral choir experiences I've had. I sang the Mozart Requiem with the Temple College Chorale a number of years ago. That was a hoot. The times I've gotten to sing in the chorus with the Messiah has been fun. And then when I was my barbershop quartet back in the day, we won a comedy contest. That was it was like 91 or something, 93. But yeah, we were comedy quartet champions.
that's awesome.
That was hilarious.
love
I was writing stuff back then, but I wrote parodies.
I love parodies. I love parodies. There's so many of them coming after COVID. Like if you go and look, COVID music parodies. There's so many of them.
Oh,
Some of
my
them are
gosh.
so good.
Yeah, yes, a great Shiny Ribs song he wrote during that break was called "Stay Home." You should just stay home during the middle of that. That was just a weird
Scary
time. It was a
times,
weird, wasn't it?
yeah.
I have met artists who said, "Well, I just totally killed my creativity. I just couldn't do anything. I just went into a funk." Some people said that.
I actually it
For-
happened to me.
It happened to you?
Yeah.
For me, I had our family was doing stuff, our circle, I guess you could say. And I'll just kind of end it on this note. That's kind of where Create Love came from, the song. Because at the time we were all masked up and blue, as the song says, and we were just trying to just break out of your funk, create something. It doesn't have to be a great work of art. I mean, it could be cooking, it could be gardening, it could be a shelf. Maybe it's a song, maybe it's a painting, but because when you create something from nothing, you're putting more love in the world.
Oh, yeah.
So you're creating love.
That's a beautiful.
You make
way to put
songs.
it, Yeah.
Yeah, you're creating love.
Music unifies us. It's
That's
the one
it.
thing we have in common.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
Have we talked enough?
No, not yet.
Oh yeah.
You talk a lot, but I think we're going on that.
Oh well, that's never been a mic I didn't like.
We're almost done, though. Tell us about your personal projects. What's up with KCD Band? What's next for you guys? When are you playing next? What's your website? Spit it out.
KCDBand.com is my website. Casey, you can find us on Instagram. Facebook is probably, our Facebook page is the best way to follow us. As far as what's next, we got 9 songs we just did, but I've got another 20 that we can pick from probably for the next project. Plus, we're writing stuff. Kind of can't wait to get started on the next project. We may have some live tracks from the show that you missed that I'm going to get mixed down. I think I got a capture of that.
Gotcha.
And hopefully we're going to be good enough for us to release. And then as far as that, it's just, get gigs and play more. We just trying to get better and trying to get try to move up the food chain a little bit. But in a way of that, you always just want to be a little better, a little bit better.
For sure.
Play more, so. And anytime we get to play original stuff, it's a treat.
Yeah.
Right? So
I love it. Well, now we've talked enough,
we have.
but we're almost done.
Okay.
I have covered up this section because I've done 2 podcasts, and I do it every time I do something similar to this because it's a lot of fun, and it kind of closes out the podcast on a good note. And it brings, people are going to think you have huge hands, but that's a baby Topo Chico.
Yeah.
It's little, so it's not his hands. But it puts people in a good mood, and it kind of,
Yeah.
sends off the podcast in a happy, good, funny note.
Yeah.
So, all right, I have 10 questions for you. You have to answer the first thing that comes into your head.
Okay.
Once you say that answer, you
Pickleball.
cannot take it back.
Pickleball.
He's obsessed with pickleball. He's wearing his pickleball shoes
Yeah.
and then his pickleball outfit.
Well, I did change shirts after we played.
That's what happens when you're a rich retired musician.
Anybody can play pickleball.
I'm sure. You ready, Casey?
Ready.
Fender or Gibson?
Gibson.
Best brand of strings?
Didario.
Carlos Santana or Slash?
Santana.
Halen or Hendrix?
Halen. Van Halen.
Favorite amp brand?
I'm an acoustic player. I don't really have a favorite.
Shiner or Lone Star?
Shiner.
Big Red or Dr. Pepper?
Oh my gosh. Dr. Pepper.
Whataburger or In-N-Out?
In-N-Out.
Favorite guitar solo of all times?
Favorite guitar solo of all time would be David Gilmour's solo on Comfortably Numb.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
If you could bring one musician that is no longer alive, who would it be?
Chris Cornell.
Oh,
Holy crap.
yes.
Where did that guy go? What happened to that guy? Talking about singers, I just idolize that guy, the way he sang. Try to emulate him as much as I can. But yeah,
Black
Chris
Hole
Cornell.
Sun.
Black Hole Sun. Go listen to some of his solo work, the work he did with Audio Slave. Great stuff that he did with Audio Slave. Yeah.
I got one last question for you.
Yeah.
Audio Slave and Soundgarden.
Audio Slave, because it's just a little more. I never was into that as much, and then Audio Slave just really hit home with me. I like Audio Slave a lot. Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say to people watching us, listening?
Support your local musicians and venues and people that help make live music, because it's really all about live music. Yeah,
guys, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for tuning in. That was Casey Stanislaw.
Thank you.
Episode 3. Make
Mucho
sure you
gusto, amiga.
No, mucho gusto a usted. He's bilingual also, y'all. Like, perfect Spanish. Él habla
Perfecto.
perfecto español.
Hablo español bastante bien.
Muy bien. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Tune up, subscribe, like, share, Spotify, YouTube, and Apple iTunes coming here in the next
and
month
the
or
next
so.
voice you hear will be Ann Stanislaw, my wife, on the outro.
Yes. So the beautiful voice that you will hear after this, after the outro, will be his beautiful wife. So make sure you enjoy it, because she has a very perfect voice for the radio.
Yeah.
So thank you, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Music Association of Central Texas.
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 The MACT podcast is produced by the Music Association of Central Texas, a 501c3 organization. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and visit us at mactx.org or on our Facebook page. Thanks for listening, and please support your local musicians and venues, because it's all about live music.